Do I hate house rules? No, I hate unclear rules. Let me give you an example. A bunch of people in my previous videos about Magic the Gathering said that they don't like losing before turn 3. Now, if the house rule was nobody wins before turn 3, I could conceivably take a deck that has a turn 1 win, do nothing but turtle up and prepare counterspells, and then win on turn 4. That would be legal by that house rule, but that's not what people mean. What they mean is I don't like the type of deck that can win turn 3, and that is a very vague rule that I don't like. To get a feeling of what people actually mean by that rule, you have to have these Rule Zero discussions. You sit down for a half hour to an hour and try to get a bead on what people like and dislike in the game, and that, to me, not for you, you do whatever you want, but to me, is exhausting. A bunch of people have asked, in good faith, why am I willing to do this for tabletop RPGs, but not for Magic the Gathering? And that's because you can have one session 0 for a tabletop RPG, and then that campaign can last years. Like, session 0s are also a little exhausting for me, but they're worth it for the return I get for the campaign. We only have to have the discussion once, and then we record the rules we agree upon on paper, or in a document or something. So if someone pulls a dick move, I could just point to it and be like, hey, we agreed you weren't going to do that. And that lasts for every session that we have with this particular group in this particular campaign, which again, can last for years. Commander Rule Zero discussions have to be had every time someone has a new deck, or every time someone new sits down to the table, which can be every time I play. That is exhausting to me. It's just, I literally do not have the social energy for it. I'm happy other people do, but like, it makes the experience miserable for me. That's why I like other formats and other games more. Like, I play a lot of board games, right? And all I have to do is just follow the rules, and I don't have to worry about anything. When I play fighting games, I just follow the rules and don't have to worry about anything. If I play a shooter, I just follow the rules and don't have to worry about anything. If I had to have like a half-hour discussion before I played a fighting game or a shooter or something like that, I would be exhausted and not want to play those either. Like, I fully admit this may be my neurodivergent, or this may be my past trauma, but nothing feels worse to me than playing what I thought was a legal move and having someone get upset with me over it. I don't want to ruin anyone's good time. I don't want anyone to be upset. But if you can't clearly outline the boundaries of what we're doing, I will assume the rules are those boundaries. Like, I'll give you the example about the game that made me swear off Commander. I had already had bad Commander experiences, but I sat down with a bunch of friends in a pod and we all asked what decks we were playing. And I had a Sliver deck. I said, slivers are my favorite archetype. I've loved them since they first came out. Is this deck okay? And everyone at the table said sure. And then I played, and then they got angry, and they said, that's not a sliver deck. And I said, what do you mean? There's literally like only slivers in this deck. And they said, you're not playing a sliver deck, you're playing a blue draw and control deck that is trying to draw into a specific combo of slivers. I pointed to all the mana fixing I had, I pointed to the fact that I was playing 5 color. They sat down and they're like, no, a sliver deck is just a deck that draws slivers and plays whatever slivers come into your hand. And I'm like, why would you do that? That's inefficient. We're playing 100-card decks. Of course, draws and tutors make your deck better. Why would I not want to make my deck better? I want to do the fun thing, and this lets me do the fun thing better and quicker. Why would I not have card draw and acceleration and fixing in my deck? They were like, because it means other people don't get to play their plan. And I'm like, doesn't that mean you've just built your deck poorly? And then I offered, I'm like, I'll help you build your deck. Proxies were allowed, so I'm like, we could just tune your deck up with some draw and some tutors, and then you'll be on my level. It'll be fine. And they told me to fuck off forever. That was a miserable experience. It felt like a miserable experience because I was just making my favorite strategy as good as I could make it. Because that's fun to me, and that fun was not allowed. And really, I'm probably not going to do many more videos on this, but that's my general argument. I don't think that Commander is a objectively bad format. I just don't have the social spoons for it. I never will.